noon Eastern, 11 a.m. local time, Oxford, Mississippi. Barely enough time to get your chandelier hung in your tailgating tent and get your pimento cheese sandwiches out. Texas A&M at Ole Miss. Jimbo Fisher's safe for this week. Lord knows what'll happen next week. But this line feels weird.
Oh, yeah.
It's 4.5. We've got it wrong in the graphic, but it is Ole Miss by 4.5. And that feels a little stinky to me because Ole Miss has played very well. Ole Miss has got more dudes on defense than I think people realize. And Texas A&M has not been particularly smooth offensively with the exception of a little bit against South Carolina.
Texas A&M has, and I have no idea if people are belaboring this point. I love to beat a dead horse. Texas A&M hasn't scored a second-half offensive touchdown since September 23rd. Somebody can fact-check me on that, but I'm almost positive it has been like 35 days since, maybe 37 days at this moment, since A&M has scored a second-half offensive touchdown. That's worrisome. That is worrisome to me. I think I like Ole Miss here, and you're right about the Ole Miss defense. The problem with Ole Miss to me is just at random points in the game, their own offense seems to fully shut down. I like Jaxson Dart. Obviously, what's not to like about Quinshon Judkins? I like Ole Miss here because A&M away from home in true road games has been kind of unflattering to watch, if that's a good enough adjective. It's been a tough year on the road, especially for the offensive line at A&M. So I'm going Ole Miss almost by default here, just because I think I just trust Max Johnson and A&M less.
Well, I'm going to correct myself and then apologize.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm wrong on the line. The line changed from the last time I looked at it to when we started recording this. My producer, River, always on top of things. It is Ole Miss -3, which means more gamblers in on Texas A&M. What does Vegas know that we don't, Dan Rubenstein? This is a scary, scary proposition because all of the things you just said are true.
Yeah.
All of the things you just said are the reason that I also plan to pick Ole Miss. And thank you for making it where they don't have to win by as much, because I don't see a way that A&M wins this game if Ole Miss's defense shows up.
I totally agree. And it's an especially bad combination or matchup because Ole Miss right now is like a top 10 team in terms of sacks per dropback, like completing sacks, tackling opposing quarterbacks. And Texas A&M has certainly had issues, sometimes more on the inside of the offensive line, but in protecting Max Johnson, who I have nothing. Well, I have to say this anytime I talk about Max Johnson. I have nothing against Max Johnson. He holds onto the ball for 2.5 seconds too long every time he passes the ball, and I would be infuriated by that if I were an A&M fan. And so I don't love that matchup. I think Ole Miss is just going to get off the field, and I don't think A&M is going to have the ability to score 28, 30 points in this game, which I think is what it'll take to win.
Well, and I think your point about the middle of Texas A&M's offensive line is the big question, because against Tennessee, that's where the pressure came from almost every play. And, maybe that was a noise thing in Neyland. I don't know, but I don't think so. That Vaught Hemingway, not the most terrifying road environment in the SEC, but I will say they've done a better job of late at Ole Miss at trying to create a good home field advantage. So, the A&M offensive line has got to protect Max Johnson better, but he has got to get rid of the ball. I'm with you. I don't know that Ole Miss is going to score the way they have against most teams.
No.
But I have faith in them to score enough to win this game by 3 points.
Yeah, I think so too. And I really love the A&M defense. I just wish they had an offense with a plan that's better than get it to Aniyah Smith however we can and hope that he can single-handedly, and Evan Stewart's obviously incredible too, but he's a little bit more reliant on the passing attack because you can use Aniyah Smith in more creative ways. I just wish it was a more fully formed offense, which I guess aligns me with the entirety of Texas A&M's fan base.
Yeah, and the other thing is, as good as Edgerrin Cooper has been for Texas A&M, I don't know that what he does well works as well against this offense, because Jaxson Dart will be getting rid of the ball fast, or they're just going to count the box and hand off to Quinshon Judkins. So this is not an offense where the quarterback's going to stand there and pat the ball and let you come get him. So that's the other problem in this case, stylistically, it's going to be tough. But yeah, I will take Ole Miss in this game. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.